Tonight, a grieving family turns its anger on the government. Clare Nowland's loved ones demand compensation over the tasering death of the great-grandmother. Not done yet, Ben Roberts-Smith to appeal findings. The former soldier committed war crimes in Afghanistan. A warning for Northern Beaches residents after a family automotive business goes up in flames. There's a new housing honcho in town, how the new rental commissioner will fix the mess, starting in Sydney's west. We ride along to see how Sydney Trains is keeping our network on track. It's a 10 News First exclusive. This is no joke. We could be about to shell out $15 for a carton of eggs as the cost of living crisis deepens. And we're live at Fed Square in Melbourne to catch up with our mighty Matildas ahead of their final World Cup tune-up against France.
This is 10 News First Sydney with Sandra Sully.
Good evening. It was the police incident that shocked the state. Great-grandmother Clare Nowland allegedly tasered in her Cooma nursing home before dying shortly after. Now her grieving family is demanding that someone pay, launching legal action 2 months on from the tragedy. Ali Donaldson joins me now live from State Parliament. Ali, who are they suing exactly?
Sandra, good evening. I'm outside State Parliament because they're suing the state government. It's been almost 2 months since Clare Nowland was allegedly tasered by police inside her nursing home. Police claim that she was brandishing a knife. What we do know is that she was walking towards them with a walking frame. She fell to the floor, hit her head and tragically died a week later in hospital. Now, while the criminal case is ongoing involving that police officer, this is the first time we've seen her family in court with a civil matter down in Bega. We understand with these cases you can seek damages between $100,000 up to $1.25 million. I spoke this afternoon with her grandson, and while we have no detail on how much the family is seeking, we do understand that this action was lodged while she was still alive. She was fighting for her life in hospital. We'll bring you all the details when they are next back in court in 6 weeks' time. Sandra?
All right, Ali, as always, thanks for the update. The tainted war hero, Ben Roberts-Smith, will appeal his courtroom defeat in his defamation action against the Nine newspaper group. Now, last month, the federal court judge found the published allegations that Roberts-Smith was a war criminal and a murderer were substantially true. Since then, the Victoria Cross recipient has agreed to pay millions of dollars in costs to the Nine newspapers while still protesting his innocence. His lawyers a short time ago filed papers notifying of an appeal. The case will now go to the full bench of the federal court at a date to be fixed. In a bid to give tenants a voice, tackling rising rents as well as unfair evictions, the government has appointed the state's first rental commissioner. Trina Jones says she'll be fighting for fairness in a market that has seen skyrocketing prices, which have pushed good tenants from their homes.
She's the former CEO of Homelessness New South Wales, and Trina Jones will now advocate for those who rent the roof over their heads, becoming the state's first rental commissioner.
I have been a confident and capable advocate for the housing sector for over 15 years. I have a track record of bringing solutions to government, working with community.
Among her to-do list, making it easier to keep a pet in a rental, ending no-grounds evictions, creating portable bonds so you can transfer a deposit from one property to another, and improving renters' protection and privacy.
Government has recognised that this is a sector that has been failing the people it is supposed to be serving. We don't have these commissioners for the areas that are going well.
Sydney has seen a sliver of rental relief recently, with the vacancy rate increasing 0.05 a percentage point to 1.73% last month, according to PropTrack. But conditions remain extremely tight, with the city's rental vacancy rate half what it was pre-pandemic.
There are opportunities for us to act to provide more stability and security for them and do something about massive increases in rents.
Western Sydney is home to 5 out of the state's top 10 areas feeling the tightest squeeze, according to a new rental pain index by Suburb Trends. So tenants here will be hoping the new commissioner can deliver timely relief.
We're talking about people's homes. My priorities will be on quality, affordability and fairness.
Paris Martin for 10 News First.
A massive factory fire which destroyed at least 3 businesses on Sydney's northern beaches is now being treated as suspicious. Fortunately, no one has been injured, but tonight firefighters are urging locals to avoid the area due to toxic smoke.
Fierce flames scorched the night sky as an inferno ripped through a string of businesses. The explosions echoed across Brookvale as thick black smoke choked the suburb. For 4 hours, firefighters battled to bring the blaze under control, but there was no saving 3 of the properties here.
All our heart and soul is in that business. Sorry.
This has been the home of the Academy of Acrobatics and Gymnastics International for 13 years.
Wow, yeah, we're pretty sad. I think Argy's had the business for a long time.
Beside the gymnastics studio was Smooth Moves Relocations, which has been in business storing clients' priceless belongings for 17 years. Then there was Hart's Automotive, that's been a part of the community for almost a century.
He's got a lot of memorabilia in there and probably a lot of sentimental products in there that are gone.
Tragically, it was what was in each of these businesses that made the blaze that much more intense.
High fuel loading being vehicles and furniture storage and other polyurethane materials.
The temperature of this fire reached about 800 degrees. What's left of the building is still incredibly hot. It continues to smoulder. Only when it's completely out can investigators move in and try and work out what's caused this blaze.
That's our main priority, get the fire out, then we can start the assessment, the full assessment, and then we can hand back and get the recovery happening for the owners of the complex and also all the tenants.
A GoFundMe has already been set up for the Academy of Acrobatics and Gymnastics as they try and claw back what this fire has cruelly taken. Samara Gardner for 10 News First.
Thousands of Sydney apartment owners are in turmoil tonight after the collapse of one of Australia's biggest property developers. As his company Top Place was thrown into administration, embattled developer Gene Nassif remains overseas facing fraud allegations. The Top Place group has several projects under construction across Sydney. Its downfall could impact thousands of apartment buyers and contractors. Creditors will meet for the first time next week. Sydney could adopt a Robin Hood approach to toll relief with the rich to subsidise the cost of lower tolls for the poor. It is one idea floated by Professor Ellen Fells, who today began the first public hearings in his independent toll review.
Giving the green light to new thinking on tolls, Professor Ellen Fells today kicking off 3 days of public consultation on an issue that drives Sydney mad.
The most tolled city in Australia and one of the most tolled, if not the most tolled in the world.
First in the hot seat, billionaire road operator Transurban.
We believe in the people that use it and benefit from it should pay for it.
But if rising toll prices are highway robbery...
I do believe that we could take a look at fairness.
The answer may be a Robin Hood approach.
You've travelled far this morning? Too far to be patient of delay now. So, your purse.
Taking from the rich to deliver toll relief to those on the breadline.
It could mean that some very well-off people who benefit from the present scheme might lose out on it. That's quite possible.
Means testing both the new $60 per week toll cap, which starts in January, and the existing 40% toll rebate, which only lasts for another 12 months.
There's more that we can do. I'm not prepared to wave the white flag when it comes to toll relief in New South Wales.
Also being considered zone and distance-based tolling and cheaper off-peak tolls, currently in place on the harbour crossings.
And that would certainly help across the network or the users to manage congestion.
How the tolls and rebates are calculated may change, but what won't is how much money Transurban is raking in. That's locked in for decades, thanks to contracts signed by successive governments. Daniel Sutton for 10 News First.
The boss of Sydney Trains has thanked passengers for their patience as urgent repair work continues to close parts of the network on weekends. Nearly a third of high priority defects have now been fixed. Helping find those faults, though, are two high-tech machines that analyse every inch of rail.
Diesel-powered and just 24 metres long, it's the small and mighty workhorse of the Sydney Trains fleet.
Looks like a normal train, travels like a normal train, but there's a lot of technology inside this train. They take 20 million pictures of the railway as they're travelling along.
An Australian first when they were acquired, the twin inspection vehicles have become critical to the government's